All right, so how do you track marketing ROI? What a confusing thing it can be sometimes. All this data and analysis, and how do you even make really good decisions based on what you have? How do you even know what to track? Well, here's the first things you really need to understand is you need to track these three things. I'm going to give it to you right before we get into the video. Number one, you need to track the traffic, acquisition. You need to track the engagement, how people are interacting with your content, and you need to track the conversions. Those are the three buckets. So if you don't do anything other than those three things, you're going to track exactly what you need to. There's so many data points that you can track that it gets really overwhelming. And as a marketer and business owner, those are the best things to track consistently. So I'm gonna get into the details more right here in this video. If you stick with me, I'll show you exactly the template I actually use for my customers. So if you want to learn about what that looks like, stick around. Well, hello there. My name is David Classer. Nice to meet you. I'm a marketer and business owner here in Kansas City, Missouri. My mission is to rid the world of bad marketing. I know, kind of crazy, right? Oh, and I also love sweet tea. So if those are topics you're interested in, please consider subscribing. I would appreciate it so much. All right, let's get into the video. How to track marketing ROI for any business. Really, this is gonna work for multiple businesses. I don't care if you're an e-commerce company. I don't care if you're B2B. I don't care if you're selling lemonade at a lemonade stand or online. This is really gonna work for you. It's the most straightforward and simplest way possible. So if you're new to this, or even if you're more of an expert, I think you'll get some value out of this video and really help you understand how we're tracking it at my marketing company. I own multiple marketing companies. It's really fun. I live and breathe this stuff every day. So let's get into it. This is the most straightforward way possible. So this is how we track the marketing efforts. Three buckets like I just told you, but listen here. Traffic. It's the acquisition. How many people are coming to your website? How many people are coming to your app? If you're in the health and wellness space and you made an app, or you're in the financial industry, how many people are coming to whatever it is you want to track? How many people are engaging? The second bucket, engaging with your audience, or the audience engaging with and interacting with your content. There's different metrics that we can track. And number three, conversions, obviously one of the most important things, but we do something different here. We break it up into micro conversions, macro conversions, new customers, and upsells. Any marketing campaign, I don't care what you're doing, digital marketing, content marketing, paid ads, organic, blogging, all these buzzwords that you hear in the industry about marketing. These are the three buckets you absolutely must track no matter what you're doing. And I love the fact that we can distinguish different conversions between micro conversions and macro conversions. You have leads, you have prospects, all these different things in a sales funnel, but this is honestly the best way to track. And I'll get into micro conversions and macro conversions here in a second, but this is really the full picture here. So what do we want to know from each bucket? Well, of course, the traffic. We want to know how are we increasing website traffic, and then also what that leads to is brand awareness. How many people are coming directly to your website on a query, or right to www. whatever your company is, versus Googling for unbranded keywords, right? For engagement, we want to know how are we nurturing new and returning visitors? How are we nurturing? That might be a new word. I fully believe as a marketer that we should nurture, we shouldn't sell to prospects, leads, consumers, your audiences, whatever you want to call it. We should nurture, we shouldn't sell. Nurture, don't sell. You should use that hashtag nurture, don't sell. You can follow me on LinkedIn. I use it all the time. But that's how we want to engage people, solve many problems. And what that means is then if we solve many problems and we help them learn and inform and guide them, they're going to convert into micro conversions, macro conversions, and ultimately be a customer and then upsell them. It's fantastic. And so we want to move users down the sales funnel. So that's what we're looking to attract and track. Before I get into this here, the main way we're tracking here is, of course, Google Analytics. Google Analytics is the big boy in town. You've got other ones like Orbi and stuff, but Google Analytics, the most simplest way. I know it can be complex at times, but that's for another video. I can show you actually how to get this data, but it's actually pretty straightforward on how to find this data in Google Analytics and just pull some simple reports. But if you want that type of video, I can absolutely make it. But this is the basic transformation of that data. I hope you like these little traffic emojis. I try to, sometimes hard to find emojis that go with certain words. I don't know if you feel the same way. Comment below if you do. Just sometimes emojis are good, but they make me upset because I can't find exactly what I'm looking for. Okay, anyways, so you can see that this is for a specific time set frame, about a couple months, 5 months or so. But traffic, what are we looking to track within traffic? The acquisition. First thing, there's 2 buckets. There's organic, right? Those who visit on Google or search engines. Organic, completely organic, whether they type in a branded keyword, meaning your company name or something to do with you as a person, as a CEO or the marketer or whatever, or it's something unbranded, completely unrelated, which would be fantastic because you're ranking for some keywords. Whatever it is, it's organic. Then, of course, you have the paid, people who see it in an ad or a promotion. Organic, paid, organic, paid. You'll see this multiple times as we go through this, okay? The most basic thing that you need to understand and actually analyze here is channels, both organic and paid. This is just fake data here. But what we're seeing here is channels, meaning where are they coming from? And they're lumped into big buckets. You can see 5 main ones here. You've got direct, you've got organic, you've got paid, you've got social, and referral. What do these mean? Direct means, like I said, going to www.yourcompanywebsite.com. Organic is anything from Bing to Google to DuckDuckGo and all these fancy new ones. That's organic, and they're typing branded or unbranded keywords. You've got paid. That's a lump. Some you'll see display, sometimes Google display as another 6th lump category here, but mainly paid is just anything that is labeled with an ad or promotional efforts, mainly Google, but it can include some other ones as well. Social, Facebook, TikTok, I think it does TikTok as well, Instagram, LinkedIn, all those different things. Referrals are other websites like Yelp or Zillow or any of those other ones, Quora. There's so many different other referrals from different main sites that act as either directories or anything like that. That's referrals. And so it's very important. This is a simple report. You could go to Google Analytics and find this under the acquisition, the main thing. But people just overlook this. But this has some really good data, and it's very simple. What we're sorting by and segmented by is not page views, is not even unique page views. It's by users. You really want to track by users here because that shows the unique individual person coming to your website. So you can see that I have 2 different users here, and then the year-over-year comparison. The first user is for the first period, which is what you see below by July 17th through 2020 to January 1, 2021, or whatever it is. The second is the same time last period. And so you'll get to see how you're doing. You always want to do a comparison, really, for the most part, to see how you're doing against the previous year or years or whatever that period is. So you can see, for instance, 1739 users versus 1126. That's a 54% increase. So that means we're doing something right. And you'll want to look down through the rest of these categories and understand what are we doing right and what are we doing wrong. Now, of course, you can click in Google itself and click into organic and really go deeper. But this basic report will tell you, give you a 1,000-foot view. Are we doing better with brand awareness this quarter or this year? Because our direct searches are up by 54%. Wow, that's great. We get some good brand awareness from that. That is a legit conclusion to define. There is direct traffic increase 54%, brand awareness. Paid, well, we didn't approve any budgets for this really year to do some paid. That's quite low, and all these numbers are fake, of course, but social, wow, 175%. We are doing really well on social. What type of strategy are we doing? And let's dive into that. Basic overview, channels. New and returning visitors, very important for brand awareness. How many returning users are we seeing within a extended period of time based on last year? These are all analysis that we need to track. All right, so now we start getting into actual pages. Landing pages, if you go to Google Analytics, and I believe it's acquisition and then content and then landing pages. A landing page is the first page that someone lands on your site, whatever page that is. It's the very first if they're coming from referral traffic or social or they Google you. It's the very first page. So this is important because you're gaining traffic. You can see on the left-hand side, you got a / the page URL, whatever it is. This is all data. And then we sort and segment by sessions. Sessions are very important, more than page views. Sessions analyzes how a user interacts with multiple pieces of your website for an extended period of time. I believe it's 30 minutes. That's called a session. And so we want to know how many of those sessions happened, whether they visited one page and bounced or they visited multiple pages. That's a session versus just page views. Page views are, it's just not a very good metric in my mind. So we want to sort by sessions, and same sessions here as users. This is the first column. This is the first year right here. And this is the second, or the period that we're on right now. And then the last period, the same as last year. Then you got the Y over Y comparison, so you can understand which pages are really ranking the best. Obviously, home is going to be a good one, and that's typically in a / It doesn't always say home, but it just says / and that's it. And then you can see all your other pages. What are your best ranking pages? And you can see any percentage-wise comparison. Another thing you'll see here is the label. I always like to label pages. What are they actually doing? I think any website that you go to has 2 different page labels. I like to identify that in, and that's one of 2 things. Either it's trying to nurture a consumer or your audience. It's trying to nurture them, meaning like inform them, guide them, educate them on something. And it could be about your services, or it could be about an industry topic, or it's trying to convert them. I think there's only really 2 possibilities. And let me know if that's something you disagree with. I'd love to chat with you on this video, but those are the 2 things that any page would do, is either nurture or convert someone. So that's why I label it. So it gets you in the right mindset. It's like, how many of our pages are really doing well? A homepage really is just to nurture at the start, especially if it's that first page that people are going to. They don't know who you are, and so they want to be nurtured and understand what's going on and what do you even do. That's another topic for later. But you can see the top landing pages. This is organic. You want to separate them between, the first was channels had lumped both organic and paid in one report. This is just organic. You want to understand, because organic is the long-term goals and health of a business. The paid is a little bit more quick wins, right? So you'll see the next page is paid. You want to do the same thing for paid, and so on. Now you want to do and track keywords. You want to track branded or unbranded, and then branded right here. So these are just examples of the data here. You've got, if you connect Google Search Console, you'll absolutely need this. A standard Google Analytics doesn't give you really any good unbranded keywords. So you'll want to connect Google Search Console, and you'll want to track unbranded and branded keywords. So what's the difference again? Branded is typing in your name or someone associated to your company, or your company name or half the company name. You know how people just type in half, or kind of a weird way to type in your brand. They don't type it fully or whatever. That's a branded keyword. Anything has to do with your company specifically in the search, in organic search. Unbranded is anything that has to do around your industry and topics. So if you sell cookies and it's your brand name is Macy's Cookies, if they type in Macy Cookies, that's branded. If they type in the best cooking recipes for home in 15 minutes, long tail keyword, that's an unbranded keyword. So you want to be able to track these And if you set up Google Search Console, you'll be able to. I also label these as nurturing and converting as well. As long as you understand the search intent, why people are searching for those. If it was Macy's cookies, that would be more of converting because they're looking specifically for you and your company. Maybe they've heard you, word of mouth, whatever it is, and they want to buy some. Maybe they want to make some recipes, so you're creating content that has to do with that topic, and so that's more of nurturing. All right, so that's our first bucket, and you might be surprised here. That's pretty simple. Honestly, that's pretty simple, and you can go into more depth and find analysis, but I like to think, I know it works better to have this high overview of these buckets because sometimes we just get in the weeds, and guys, we just don't find the right analysis and we get too complex. And so I find that these reports right there are all that's needed to really have good conversations. And of course, I take my clients more through the Google Analytics, and you can build out a data studio dashboard or whatever you'd like. But those are fantastic first straightforward steps to report on your marketing ROI. Engagement. Let's talk about engagement. For my clients, mainly I do two things, is website and social. You can add email in here. You can add lots of other ways and avenues, but right now I'm just going to focus on website and social because those are the main ones. Email is a good third one to add though. What you want to look at is the organic and paid, bounce rate, average session duration, and pages per session. This will really help you understand how is my brand engagement? How are people engaging with my content on my website? The bounce rate, you want a low bounce rate. Okay, a low bounce rate, meaning they come to a page and they get out of there either quick or they stay a little bit longer. This is an example of the users within this certain period have a 72% bounce rate. It's not that great, but let's say it improved 11% over the last period. That means you're doing something well with the content on your website. You're trying to keep people there longer. You're sharing more testimonials and information and content versus just having a blank blah page, right? Average session duration. This is a good one. This improved 36%. Obviously, 1 minute is not that great because they're not staying on your website, and that's a session over 30 minutes time, right? I talked about sessions versus page views. You want that to be around 5 minutes or 2 minutes even at the least. And so, but any improvements that you can keep people on that page, the better it's going to be. And then average pages per session, about 1.5. That means they're just staying on one page. How can you lead them through multiple pages and make it a mini sales funnel within itself? You know, let's say the most optimal solution there, and one of these situations is they Google unbranded keyword, how to bake cookies in 15 minutes at home. They read your recipe real quick, and then it tells them about a more specific way or a different method of creating cookies with this new product or something that you tried. Then they click over to that article because it's linked in that blog, and they watch a video too because the video's in the blog itself. And then wouldn't you know that you have a complete guide to doing all things cookie baking, and it's a lead generating PDF, and they put in their name and email. Those are ways. All these things would go up. You'd see the bounce rate go down, the average session duration go up, and page views, pages per session go up. It's a fantastic thing. So those are all ways to analyze what's going on here. So this is both organic and paid together. You can separate those out. So this is an example of a bad report, but these are devices. You want to understand how are people looking at your site. Is it mobile a lot, or is it desktop? Is it tablet? This one, for instance, has a lot of users on mobile, right? And it's been down for whatever reason. Well, that's probably because our paid efforts haven't been as much this year, right? There's lots of different analysis, but you want to understand how they behave with your website. Another one right now to add, but that's not on here, is the demographics. The people, are they male? Are they female? What ages are they? Where are they from? Are you seeing more ticks in the United States within Michigan Or are you seeing more over on the East Coast or the West Coast or the Midwest? Are you seeing different nationalities in different countries go up or down? You want to track those as well, but for this client, it wasn't necessary. So then you can say, okay, what are some of your top pages? This would be a page URL. And what you can do is understand how many people that page reached. So how many users, right? That's a user right here. And then you can say, okay, out of those many reach within this time period, how many converted? And you can track this if there's a form on that page, really, or if there's a checkout or add to cart or whatever. How many people converted on that page? The average time on that specific page versus the site as a whole, 2 minutes, which is really good. That's really good. But the only problem is the bounce rate is pretty high. All right. So you want to analyze all your top pages and get a good list of like 10 or 15 or so. That would be a good sample size. If you're a smaller business, get 2 or 3, whatever Google tells you. Then what we need to do is look at social. Let's overview some social. And these are some basic things that you can pull from social. But social posts, how many you did, how many likes and follows came from that, how many people you reached organically or paid, and then how many ad campaigns you did. And so you can kind of distinguish those right here on the right side as well. But you really want to see that line go up and understand, oh yeah, at this certain point we did a campaign and that was a bad time as well, or whatever analysis you can garner from social. Social is a really important thing. Sometimes it's harder to get data on social. If you're more of an e-commerce brand for younger people in the fitness world, TikTok and Snapchat and Instagram are you going to be your thing. If you're an older commerce B2B brand, Facebook and LinkedIn are going to be your things. So there's different reports here, but at the basics, check out this, just social posts, likes and follows, ad campaigns, people reached, and you'll get some good analysis here. Then what you want to do is make sure you report on your top performing social posts. Same thing as the website pages, right? You want to keep the same format. You can see how many people are reached, how many people engaged with it, and the post clicks and the date and time. And you'll see a post type. Every time we do a social post, I create labels for things and types because I want to be able to report on what this actually means. This one would be a promotional post, meaning it was promoting the business in some way. There's inspirational social posts. There's more culture posts about your team and what you do. There's all these different categories, and we label that as such within our content calendars. So I think you should do the same. I think it's really important for analysis. All right, the big guy here is conversions. What does that look like? I'm going to share with you the 2 ways that I think you should really track conversions, mainly within content marketing, inbound marketing, any marketing efforts, really. And it's a big game changer, honestly. Number 1 is micro conversions. These are conversions that result in the user signing up to access something of value. If you're doing marketing the right way, I think the best marketing is content marketing, by the way. That's the way that you should track micro conversion is create lead magnets or email updates, give value in some way where someone just has to sign up with their daggone email. And it's a fantastic way to build your email list and to really be known as the industry expert. If you give something really good away, like really good personal data or with data within your business, every business has something that they know that someone else doesn't. So if you give that away in a way that makes sense and aligns with business goals, you're going to get some of these micro conversions. The next is macro conversions. These are conversions that result in a higher probability of users converting into a client just right down the road. So these are contact forms. These are direct call to actions. There's something more value. Maybe they give you their email again or their name or some additional information for a more analyzed report of whatever you're giving away, or if they're wanting to analyze something or get data from you about your work or whatever it is. There's so many different ways, but this is something more that it's a next step. It's a next step or a broader step versus just these small like industry updates, or give me some small, ebook or email series or something like that. But these are the two best ways, I'm telling you, to track conversions, of course, with new customers and upsells. So here's a basic report that we go over, and you'll see that these things are pretty simple to track and understand. Is for the website, we've got micro, macro, and then new clients. Social, we've got the likes and follows. We've got the CTAs, which are actually on the social pages itself. Whenever you go to a Facebook page, it's like contact us now, or visit the website, or whatever the case is. And then new clients. So how do you get this data? Well, micro conversions, this should all be set up in your website as far as forms and things like that. If you use an email marketing tool, sometimes they have forms that you embed on your website, and then you can track all those and get an email every time someone downloads a PDF or an ebook. Macro conversions, same type of thing. On their website, you can have Google Tag Manager or events set up. Those are honestly really simple. If you want me to do a video on that, I can. Otherwise, just watch a YouTube video. It's really simple on how to create Google events and conversions or Tag Manager to track these. And then new clients, you just need to dig back in your data. Depends on how big of a business you are, but you need to look up those names and the client names, the account name, and see where they came from. That takes a little bit more time here, but it's honestly not that bad to understand where those guys come from. So the biggest part is just getting this all set up here. Social, that's pretty simple. We just pulled that report based on all our socials, and then we get this data as well from the social media. As far as where they come from to become a new client, you can do a couple things. You can track that user, or you can track how many people came to your website from social. And then on an onboarding survey, I think every company should have that. You want to ask, where did you hear about us? And if the person likes you or follows you on social, those are some other cues. So it's a little bit more hands-on, but it's so worth it. So then, of course, you can say, what are some of our top conversion pages? Then this is for the website. You want to go to that actually page URL and see how many different conversions for that page there was. So let's say this one had 62 macro conversions. So then maybe this was a more in-depth ebook, or some webinar or better resource that went in depth within your services specifically, like booked a demo or something like that. Those were all things that would be considered a macro conversion. That's the best way. That's the absolute best way, and the simplest and the most straightforward to track your marketing ROI. I want to know your thoughts if you made it through this video. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time. It was a long video. There's a couple ways that you can reach out to me on social. Just find me at I'm David Classer on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Facebook, on TikTok even. I'd love to connect with you. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. I will respond as soon as possible within the day. I guarantee it. You try it, I guarantee it. Follow me on social, DM me on any platform. I would love to chat with you. Thank you so much. You have the best day. We'll talk soon.